All right, what's up, guys?
Filtered.
Unfiltered. I don't know about that name.
Eating a bunch of shit here.
Unfiltered. So, Nash, what do you got for us? You got some. You got some sites.
I got some sites. I think thesaurus.com. Or
You want
maybe
to
number
start with
one.
that one? All right, let's start with that one. Let's see here.
So they just went through a redesign?
Yep, just went through a redesign. I think they. I mean, I only saw it like this week, so I don't know how long ago they did it, but it shocked me for sure. I was. It's taken me a little bit to get used to it.
Oh man, yeah. It looks. I mean, it looks like they tried to go brutalist, but it didn't quite go all the way. I like the
Wasn't
giant tabs at the top here. Those are nice. The
Yeah,
switching back
yeah,
and
it is.
forth. That's pretty good. And then here's the page. Ooh, man. I don't know.
Yeah, was this?
I think there's supposed to be an ad sitting here. I'm sure there is. Yeah, hang on. Let me turn off my ad blocker thing.
See it in its full glory.
All right, let's try it now. Oh yeah, here we go.
There it
Here
is.
here come the ads.
There
Yeah,
it
there
is.
they are. There they are.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, Nash, this is. Are you familiar with brutalist design?
I'm not.
So, let's see. Figma. Oh, I'm signed in here. Hang on a second. Let me sign out. Log
Oh,
out.
dang. Just gave up the IP.
I know. This is kind of brutalist design. So it's like this super high contrast, generally fairly flat, a lot of like black and white, heavy, kind of bright colors. What's the other one? What's another good one? Gumroad. Daniel, what are some good brutalist design sites?
Um, Medium.
Medium? Is Medium brutalist? Oh yeah, it is. So yeah, it's got that kind of high contrast. It's generally, I mean, Daniel, you'd probably say like a little bit like Gen Z, almost like a pushback on like this overly crafted, perfect style.
Hmm.
And then you can go like way off like almost broken version of brutalist design. Like, I'm trying to think, Mischief might be kind of in that vein, where it's just like it's almost anti-design to some
Hmm.
extent. Um,
Like
yeah.
simple.
Here we go.
Minimal.
There we go. There's like the anti-design type of
Yeah,
like.
like it leaves space to do whatever. So it's like design is there, but also not there.
Huh.
Yeah. Um, but going back to this, like it feels like they kind of went halfway toward brutalist design, and you can't go halfway. You just got to go.
Not fully committed.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the ads is like how they make most of their money, so they gotta have that there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But I honestly feel like it might be cool just to like almost like accept that we're gonna show you ads and just kind of like go all in on that. So make ads like part of making the ads like part of like the stories.com experience. You know, like I
Right.
come to stories.com to get my word, but also like the ads in here is like still a enjoyable thing on you rather than just like something in your face that I'm probably never gonna click.
Right. The just display ads. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we could do like a word of the day sponsored by like drip, like
Yeah,
drip sponsored by I don't know.
Balenciaga.
Yeah, exactly. Um, like give them a reason to go see the word of the day. Now you're doing. I mean, I guess that's more branding than advertising almost in that context. But
It's true.
I think there's something to that. But yeah, I think what I look at when I look at this, it's just like I said. It just doesn't. It feels like it's some of it I like. Like I said, I like the tab at the top, but even the fact like this rounded corner on the tab, it's like it's mixing metaphors of like kind of an expected style with something that's going to be like brutalist wouldn't do this rounded corner like this typically. Like that's just very not brutalist, and so it's like
They have
then,
it on
then
the
you have the
game
square,
today.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then you have the square here. You have the rounded corner here. Like, well, you can, it's not like you can't round corners, but this context just feels like a tab that wouldn't exist in a brutalist design. And so it's just like they're mixing designs where it's almost like, it reminds me of this. It reminds me of this image. Just like, how do you do, fellow kids? Like, they're trying really hard to fit in with the Gen Z, but it's like it's just not quite there. It's not. I mean, they could have done a much worse job of the redesign, but it just
I think it's on the right path, but then the execution might not have been 100.
yeah. And I like even on the dictionary side. For some reason, the dictionary side feels a little bit cleaner. I'm waiting for these ads to come
It was
in.
just the blue and like less colors everywhere.
Yeah. Versus the thesaurus, that yellow. Yeah, and this, I think the other thing I struggle with a little bit is on some of the contexts, the hierarchy just feels a little bit hard to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And like the use of emoji kind of sticks out it's just they're mixing a bunch of different design styles and they just kind of look a little bit hodgepodge. I would give it like for a redesign, like probably a C, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
See.
What do you think, Daniel?
Okay.
Am I being too generous?
Yeah, we'll leave it at C.
All right.
Would you say they have to pick? Their grade would go up if they would like pick a design.
Dedicated to a design or something.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they went with and just decided we are doing brutalist, then yes, their grade would go up massively. If they decided no, we're not doing brutalist and we're just doing like a clean modern design, like pull away some of this stuff and just make it just look nice and clean.
Yeah.
Great. Or playful. Like I like the use of these emoji, like the check boxes, but I'm always for the emoji in design. But they just kind of like they just look random here. They don't look like they're purposeful.
It just looks very scattered.
Yeah. That's an interesting nav. What is this? Back. Is that what it is? It literally just these are words of the day?
I think so.
Interesting. Okay. So let's see here. Let's try brutalist. Huh. They don't have brutalist. Brutality. Oh, look at that. There's another new.
It's a different look.
That's the actual page that most people. Oh my gosh, there's so many ads. This is the actual page I think most people would find themselves on. So it's so interesting. Oh man, another. Don't leave. We have another ad to show you. No, so they have like 3 different primary pages. They have the home page. Oh, these even take the URL. Okay, they have the home page, and then on the home page they have like the synonym of the day. And then what's odd about this is like, oh, okay, see all synonyms for artificial. That's where you get into that page. And then the brutalism is like gone here now.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So, oh, no, not entirely though.
Honestly, it would be kind of cool, like if we stuck to like a playful route, for example,
Mm-hmm.
that then maybe we could like use the ads as the playful like element to the page, you know? Then the ads stop becoming like a nuance, but it starts becoming like almost like the DNA of the source. Like obviously you're here to get the words you want, but then you're also here because the ads are kind of entertaining.
Right.
Mm. That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
I'm trying to imagine doing that. Like that would be definitely a big change in monetization for them, right? Because right now they're just using DoubleClick, like Google's
AdSense.
AdSense. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And so like they're just plugging those in, and they're probably getting a real low amount for each of these ads, just because they're
Everywhere.
everywhere and no one's clicking on them.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong. I mean, obviously they have they have traffic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's overall, like I said, I think C. It's maybe I'm being generous. Maybe it's a C minus. Like the thing is, like a team put a lot of effort into this. I'm sure there were a lot of internal discussions. I'm sure actually a lot of the things that Daniel were talking about, them just kind of going halfway. I'm sure some of that is like someone internally was like, yeah, let's go brutalist. And then there's someone else who was like, well, no, I don't love that. And so they kind of settled on this halfway.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that to me is how this happens.
They get 42.7 million monthly visits.
Ah, there you go. That's decent.
There you go.
Okay.
Good amount of people.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, that's thesaurus.com. C. Give him a C. All right. What do we got next, Nash?
We got Wells Fargo next.
Just wellsfargo.com?
I'd say the app.
The Wells Fargo app.
That's lame. That kind of lame.
I think Wells Fargo's dope.
Wells Fargo's dope?
Mm-hmm.
Do you use Wells Fargo, Daniel?
No, my uncle is part of the team.
Ooh, we can't say anything about him.
All right. Who was not anymore.
Oh, he's not anymore. Okay, we can say whatever we want.
Good.
Nice. No, I actually have the Wells Fargo app. I use Wells Fargo.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's improved a bunch over the years. It used to be very much old school bank app.
Mm-hmm.
And they've definitely improved a bunch of things, like even just the simplest things is like using Face ID for login. They are just always advertising something, though.
What's the goal of like a Wells Fargo app? Is it to increase usage? Like I imagine, do you think it's like a big feature roadmap to get people like in the app? Look, goal setter, goal getter. It's like it looks like I see a lot of like Ask Fargo. Like I mean, you tell me. You think there's like a long feature roadmap to get people using the app more?
I mean, for me, I think it's probably Wells Fargo is trying to play with some of the more modern banking apps and like trying to make sure that their app is,
Like
up to snuff or yeah, exactly. It's relevant with those, because otherwise they're going to start losing customers to, like I said, some of the more modern. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Well, there's a few smaller ones I'm thinking of, like Simple Bank, and like I use Bluevine for work, which is a little bit, both of those are kind of smaller companies. But I'm trying to think, what's the big one everyone uses? The big online bank. I can't think of the name.
I don't know.
Let me see.
Have you heard of Wealthfront? It's not Wealthfront, is it?
No. Oh, interesting. They don't like.
Wealthfront has a high, really high.
Oh, Ally?
Yeah.
Ally?
Yeah. I think that these guys are kind of, if I remember right, these are kind of like the original, like online only bank. And that's the sort of thing I feel like they're fighting against, is just like really good experience. And so they're trying to get you in the app. And like they use that whole, which I can't share a lot of it here because it's not on the screen, because it's not like, they're not showing a lot of it, but they're trying to get in with like the, what did you say? What did you call it? Nash, Ask Fargo thing, like the AI play, which I think is, it's making sense. AI is making its way into so many things that we're doing. The one thing I will say is like my experience with the Wells Fargo app is like overall the UX is pretty decent. But like
do you use all the features there, or do you just check it?
No.
Check your bank account. And
No, I just check my bank account. From time to time, like I'll go in and like actually go try and export things, that sort of thing. But like I'm not really trying to do a lot more than that. But I mean, like the UX of the app is pretty decent. What I find though is like the windowing, like the visuals of it are a little bit
overwhelming.
No, they're almost like Microsoft Windows feeling. Like they're just a little bit dated. It doesn't feel modern visually. And they also have just like a lot of this sort of like advertised to you on the homepage of their screen. It's just like, it's just so much to throw at you. And I'm sure it's the same thing that a lot of our clients deal with, where it's like they just have so many internal teams that are jockeying for position. And they're like, okay, great, we'll throw you on that. We'll throw you on the app. You're in the homepage, like, and so they throw them at the bottom of the app, which makes a lot of sense. And if you have to do that, it's not bad. I give them a solid B plus.
What's the goal? Like, what's the goal of someone like Wells Fargo? Like, are they actually trying to be like a? I mean, what are the apps people are on all day? It's like, is it like it's like the X social? It's basically the socials, right? Where people are just like on there all day. Are the Wells Fargo and these types of like outliers? Are they actually trying to like be an app that people spend lots of time in? Or just get like just like an incremental amount of usage?
I think it's probably a couple of things. One, it's probably like retention in general. Like I said, trying to keep them from going to Ally, from going to these other online, modern banks. Does Simple still exist here? Let me just check.
That's a good point. Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, what's the bottom line for Wells Fargo? Like, where they're making money is by having people stay with their bank. So the point of this app, creating this app, is to make sure that you don't transfer over to a different partner or different bank.
I think the other thing I've seen a big push for them is the Zelle, like trying to use Zelle to send money, instead of like all the other companies that you can use to send money. And by the way, I have never once used Zelle. I use all the other ones. My wife has used it a few times because her siblings are on it, but like I never ever use it. I never even think to use it. But like all the other companies that you can use to send money back and forth, I just think that's probably it. It's they want to make sure they stay relevant as a bank, and also you think about too like companies. You mentioned Twitter or X, like that's a long-term goal of theirs, is essentially to become the everything app, including finance, including like Elon Musk has straight up come out and said, like, we want this to replace your bank. And so I think Wells Fargo is 100% in retention mode on their app. Like and they're trying to throw a bunch of things at you that could potentially help you like stay relevant. And probably another big thing is not just retaining current customers, but it's also like trying to attract like a maybe not Gen Z yet, but at least millennials. Because I think they've probably got a whole bunch of boomers and like Gen Xers even on their app and with Wells Fargo. But most of my friends that, my age and younger, they're like, if they have Wells Fargo, they're not excited about it. They would rather have something else. So like I think it's just trying to stay relevant is their goal.
Well, so how about I ask you this question? If you were to build Wells Fargo app from the ground up, knowing that his retention of customers is key, what's some of the top level things you're thinking about?
Two things for me right away.
Yeah.
Simplicity and sending money. Like those are the two things. Like yes, I know they've got all these other features with like saving CD, and you see it on this here, right? And you have like all these loans, and I know those are important for their business. Like obviously you can't just completely ignore that, but like if Wells Fargo wanted to win on the mobile front, they'd have to make their app far more simple. And I think they'd have to make like the Zelle thing. It's almost like this whole separate experience. Like they'd have to make that really feel front and center in the app. And then if you do have a loan, like I have a Wells Fargo loan for my house. If you do have a loan, like of course that can show up, but like not trying to push all those things all the time. Yeah.
No, it's fair. I was gonna say the same thing. I think stripping down a lot of this other stuff. I don't know if it's just me. But I feel like me and most of my friends definitely do not go to think about a banking app to go to like, look at all the charts, look at all this like money management stuff. It's more just like what number do I have in there, and am I good for the month type thing.
Yeah. And maybe going back and looking at your like transaction history and like checking in on things. Like that's the reasons we're coming in. Yeah. I'm not coming in because I want to shop for a CD. Like
if I could do that really easily, that or like maybe at the off chance of getting in touch with like a customer service rep like pretty easily, like that low key is kind of hard for some reason, like finding a customer rep. Those three things is probably like if they cannot do that, like I would honestly consider it. Like dude,
right,
that's what I want. It looks clean, looks nice, like looks good in my phone, like why not?
Yeah. All right, Daniel, what's your grade? Wells Fargo app. I know we don't have a lot to go on here, but what's your grade?
Well, just off of these pictures, I'd probably give it maybe a C plus.
Okay. So hardly better than thesaurus.com.
Fair. I'd say it's better than Thesaurus, but then I would have put Thesaurus at like a D or an F.
Okay. Okay. I was trying to be generous.
Yeah.
No,
let me ask you guys this. I kind of think, and I'm not the designer here, but I kind of think almost leading with a community. I know it's a banking platform, but like I kind of think like this thing that makes something the stickiest is having a community aspect, like a thing where you can come in and chat with like experts and people you like, and that's what I think is interesting about Reddit. I don't do Reddit, but I can't believe the amount of like action happening in Reddit. And so it probably makes no sense, and maybe I'm way off, but I immediately go to like, how do you create a community sort of chat, almost like a Twitter environment in a Wells Fargo, where like now it keeps you, because now right, you don't go to Wells Fargo for any of those things, but if there's enough action that happens, maybe you are led to the CD function, or someone points you to some other product. So yeah, Venmo does a great job of having like some. I don't do it as much, but there were times where like I would kind of scroll Venmo, like. Anyways, that's.
No, it is interesting. I think there's something to be said about the fact that Wells Fargo, like I said about the transferring money, like nobody my age typically is thinking about Wells Fargo for transferring money. They're not talking about Zelle. And they are talking about Venmo or Cash App or, Apple Pay or 1,000 other options before they even get to even thinking about Zelle. So I think you're right. There's some of that experience, even if it's just as simple as making the paying each other a little bit more friendly and social. I think there's something there.
Yeah. Okay. But that being said, I do think if the goal was to make this app like maybe like another like revenue stream, getting users to keep like stay on this app and like use it consistently. Like I don't think Wells Fargo's goal is for people to like stay on like user
Right.
time and usage time and like actions like per user, like per session. Like I don't think they're really tracking or care too much about those metrics. But that's to say like that's for now. Like maybe it is something important. Like maybe it is something they can like, go down and explore. At which point I think that that community would be really cool. Like if I have direct access to like a financial advisor at like a free level and like a paid level, and like I just send a few messages and I get a response. Like that'd be dope.
Yeah. Yeah. Interestingly, Zelle, it's right here. It says number 5 in finance, which blows me away. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Capital One, Zelle.
Ah, they're all up there.
Yeah. I'm surprised, man. I don't know anybody. Like I said, well, that's not true. Holly's, my wife's siblings use it, or more her mom, I think. But yeah, I don't know a lot of people who use this. That's interesting. Oh, Progressive is in finance. That's kind of odd. Number 11 in finance.
No, I definitely heard Zelle's like it's a big thing for at least for my circle. We don't really use it, but then there's people who definitely like I don't have the app, but then my bank accepts it, so it's just like
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I could be
like
completely off on Zelle. Like I like I said, I don't think of it. It doesn't come, it doesn't come to mind when I think about sending money.
yeah. But at the same time, like you just download the Zelle app and it pretty much functions the same as having it in Wells Fargo. So I don't know. It's almost having like two apps that are the same.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Awesome. So Wells Fargo, there it is.
But how-
C, you say C, and I say B plus.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Right.
Cool. They could be better though. We got some ideas.
Well, I think I don't know if I'm right about this, or I don't know, but like I imagine big companies, like they're sitting there. From what I understand, talking to big companies, like they're just like always thinking about the next thing. What's the next thing that we build? What's the next thing that we build? Because you kind of do got to stay relevant. And you have the cash to kind of like work on stuff and keep working on stuff. And so you have to prioritize obviously, but it's like you kind of do have a long runway to just like keep working on stuff. So it's like I wonder, it's all on the roadmap somewhere, but it's like when do you get to it? And it's like can an agency lead one of those, or like let us start working on it, and like let's see if we can test it and see A/B test it and see if you get any sort of traction with it. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not with big companies, but that's my theory with big companies.
That's been my experience is when they're trying to do something fresh and new and different, like they don't typically start that internally. Like they would go to an agency to do something like that. And man, I'd love to do something like that for Wells Fargo, like breathe a little bit of fresh air in. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Fresh eyes. Yeah, exactly. Nice.
Do you guys want to do a third, or is 2 enough?
Do you got a third? Or do you got to run? Do you have to run now?
I think I'm okay right now. I'd be still sleeping, but I was thinking for a third, it's like I'm thinking about the streaming services, and it's like that seems interesting because that's like a
down to it.
well, it's like which one, and it just seems like it's like people are leaving them and getting a different one, leaving, canceling. It's like how do you differentiate at this point because they're all like decent. We just recently got Peacock, and I thought Peacock did a really nice job actually compared to some of the others.
Peacock, and then there's Apple Star or App Store Peacock. I haven't really used it. I should say I've used it a little bit on the Apple TV, literally just because my kid Tyler just got into football, and they do Sunday Night Football. It's the only reason, though.
Do we have Hulu?
Do I have Hulu?
A Hulu account?
I have a Hulu account, yeah. I have Peacock and Hulu. Talk to Hulu. I literally just canceled. Actually, I take that back. I just literally just canceled my Hulu account.
up.
Well, so like there you go. So I'm wondering, like, there's just like this, everything's up for grabs with these streamers, and it's like, how do you? Because I think people too are becoming, there's like subscription fatigue, so people are getting rid of them, and so it's like, is it all just based on what's on these, what they're streaming? Like, how much is it?
Oh man, it's not okay. Here's where we come in. Right here, it's what's the one? Prime, Amazon Prime, which redid it. Let's see if we got it. Yes. So they just redid their app, and I for me, I'm focusing on like the Apple TV app. I wish I could see this larger. And they just redid it, and it's significantly better than it was. It's still not great, but like I literally, even though I knew there was some good content on the Prime app, I wouldn't go there because the experience of going through it was so bad and so just frustrating. And so their update is decent. Honestly, I'd give that update like a good solid A. I think the homepage is still a little tired, like just in general. But I think actually Apple TV, their homepage is a little better, but maybe it's not so bad. But on the Mac, like,
yeah,
it's a little sad, a little tired. It needs a little more focus on like that primary. Actually, I'm gonna bring in one more here, and that's Netflix. I'm curious what you guys think about this. So Netflix. Oh, hang on a second. How do I get in it? Okay. Hang on. Here we go. They recently updated their app, and they changed their thumbnails from horizontal to vertical. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I don't mind it. I feel like it looks closer to a movie poster, so it's kind of nostalgic, I guess. But my take on all these like streaming platforms, overall is I think Netflix pioneered the way, but that's not to say Netflix did it right. Yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like, I think it works. The experience works, but it's not like the best experience whenever I use it. Like, it gets the job done, but for me, I almost would like Netflix to almost pitch me which video I should watch. Like a little bit more hero imagery, a little less busy, but then a little bit more of like selling the vision of a specific movie or show. Just because like we all been there where it's like you tap it on Netflix for like 2 hours and then you spend 2 hours trying to find something, and then you go to sleep because you couldn't watch anything. But yeah, kind of like that. You kind of get sold on the show, like what to watch, how to watch it, like spending more screen real estate on a specific thing that Netflix is kind of like doubling down that you might like, or like the user might like, something like that. I think would be pretty dope.
Yeah, I'll honestly, maybe I have a different experience, but well, definitely. I think Netflix does a really good job of recommending things, and the whole like autoplay the preview thing. On the dashboard. I use the Apple TV app, and I don't know how different that is from other things, but like in Apple TV, like I think Netflix's experience is number one. I actually, it's interesting. You and I have like almost opposite opinions on a lot of this. The other thing is, there's the thing. I hate the vertical tiles right now. I think it doesn't let you show like the way this shows on here. Like it doesn't. For some reason, I want to see it horizontal. Like I get it. It's it's like the movie poster thing, but for some reason, I want to see that big landscape, like real thumbnail. I struggle honestly. I think it's the information density. When I get the vertical tiles, it's just too many on the same screen that I struggle to focus enough on. And that could be me, like my eyes, my personality, but I feel like it's too much where I struggle to like focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. These guys got the whole vertical thing going on.
They got both going on. Big hero on the left.
Yeah. And then what was the other one we were looking at? Prime Video. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I struggle. It's almost too much. But maybe it is the same amount, and I'm just not noticing it. But it's just like I struggle to see it in the same way. I think they do a pretty decent job. Netflix does a good job. I think, like I said, the Prime Video redesign was a big deal. I think it made them actually someone I'm willing to click on, and I wasn't willing to click on them before.
Yeah, maybe I'm just indecisive. Maybe the problem is me.
No, you're not alone, man. That's definitely that might be an issue with the. We have this huge need for creativity now. We need creative. We need content, and so there's like, are we just pumping out content to have content versus maybe there was a time when it was like everything we pushed out was like a huge release in theaters. Remember theaters when it was like there were like 12 showings maybe?
Yeah.
Right.
And now it's like new thing. Because I think there's this like, again, there's this like grappling for users on streaming.
It'll be interesting to see like a feed where it's like just purely hero imagery or hero experiences, where it's like a lot of effort put into like maybe like 10 shows, and then like it takes up the whole screen. It's a very interactive experience.
Oh yeah.
Like then I'm really sold to watch this thing. You don't need to spend like all this like money getting like hundreds of thousands of shows. It's like I come to Netflix for these 10 shows that are amazing. And the experience of watching the show is sick.
I like that idea because also you could do, Daniel, like you have like vertical scrolling, right? As you're switching back and forth. And by the way, all this that I'm thinking of is like the TV experience, not necessarily this. Yeah. But then like the horizontal scroll, instead of being a bunch of different shows, it's like different things about the show. Like, you know what I mean?
That content, like just really sell me on to watch this. Otherwise, like I'm gonna go on to the next 100 other things that you're pushing in my face.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. I like that concept.
Yeah.
You're right, Rick. The Prime update was huge. Although we still watched Prime, but it felt like more like Microsoft-y before.
Yeah, it was like stepping back in time. It
was old. Yeah, it felt old school.
Yeah. And the other thing is, for me, the actual player, like, and none of these are showing the player, but like the actual player matters a lot to me. Like how that experience is when I'm playing and pausing and going through, like, you have to get the UI right. It's almost, I know a lot of people are trying to throw a bunch of things in there, like getting recommended content and other content when you do the player, but sometimes it gets overwhelming. Amazon is a big, I have a bit of a problem when I pause an Amazon show and it like shows all this other recommended content and like the X-ray stuff that they do. It's just a lot to throw in your face all at once. And then Apple is the total opposite. It's just like nothing. It's just clean. It's easy to use. I have to say, of all of the platforms, Apple TV platform. I don't know. Do you guys have Apple TV?
I don't, but then you can make me want to get it.
Yeah. No, Apple TV platform, like the actual on Apple TV, the device, the TV app is by far the best experience in my mind.
Just
Agreed.
Silence.
Agreed. I think so too.
Nice. And I just saw they're redoing it. They're doing a new, Apple TV app redesign. I just saw it. Redesign Apple TV app. There's not a lot of screenshots here to go with, but I've used a lot of design language from the Apple TV app over the years. I think there's a lot of little things that they do. It's like, ooh, I like that. I I'm trying to think of a good example. One of the for our telehealth client, LifeMD, like I used when we're doing like the preview the waiting room experience, like Apple's. I wonder if they have it on here. The experience that they use for like you're on this show now. Here are all the episodes. Like the way that scrolls up and down and like kind of the parallax of it in the app. It's just really well done. We borrowed a lot of that framework for that. But yeah. That's awesome. Dope. Cool. So streaming services, I guess, do we have to give them a rating?
I would say, I don't know. I think they're all on the same level just because they all kind of like didn't fix what wasn't broke. So
they are they all become very similar. Though you're absolutely right, Daniel. Like everyone is like, how can we look more like Netflix without?
Which is like I guess not entirely a bad thing. So whenever you switch, you're like you know how to use it. But at the same time, I almost want to see someone like break out of the mold and like do something like bold, like different, you know?
Like Quibi.
Well, what did they do?
From Quibi.
They tried to reinvent video and they failed. No, that was like a huge launch. It was like a multi-billion-dollar launch, and but no, I think you're right though. There's room for someone. It'd have to be one of the underdogs. Like I don't think it could be. I don't think Prime is going to do it. I don't think Amazon or Netflix will do it. But like one of the smaller streamers might be like, okay, we got a better experience. But I want to go back to Nash's question though about like, is it just content or is it the experience?
Yeah.
And I think it's a combination. You have to have both. You can't have just the content and you can't have just the experience. You have to have both really, really good content and a good experience in order to succeed.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, I think you're right.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's interesting you mentioned that though, Daniel, that they're all the same because I'm sure there's a lot of business reasons for that, like the risk, the business risk of being different. And so, like I said, you have to have someone who's willing to risk it a little bit and like, no, I'm actually going to go out and be different.
Yeah, when you're like a spin-off, like Apple X or something, or Apple TV X or something, which is like a totally different like feel and look of traditional viewing, like streaming services,
right?
Where you can just like do something crazy, but then see if it works, you know?
Right. I keep coming back to your idea though, Daniel, of like just show me the curated versions, right? It's almost like the TikTok experience. Like we're just going to show you this. We're not going to try and show you 10 things at once. We're just showing you this, and you decide, and you scroll past it.
And it kind of aligns with like the streaming services because all of them have their own like hero. Like we spend a lot of money. Like this is like our original content. Like that's the type of stuff. If you spent that much money on it, you might as well like really make it a thing, you know? So
right. I'm actually kind of surprised.
Can be like heroes.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised they haven't done more of that. And you also think about like the opportunity for them to put some of the social content on there. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
You think about like not every show is going to have it, but like a show that has Ryan Reynolds in it to get like some of his like little quippy stuff in the like little videos as you scroll sideways. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, John, I'm telling you, sell me to watch this. Like, if I'm gonna dedicate, like, if it's a 10 episode show that's gonna be like 2 hours each, like, if I'm gonna spend the next 20 hours of my life watching this, sell me on this, man.
Yeah. No, I like that idea. Now we gotta find someone who's willing to take us up. Come on, we'll do it. We'll build it.
Whenever y'all watching this, come on, let's go.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys, that was great.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Session 1.
Thanks for meeting. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for the idea, Daniel and Nash. Like that's awesome.
Nash pioneered it, man.
Yeah, this is the what do we call this? This is something turd. All I can remember is turd. What is it?
Filtered.
Unfiltered. That's right.
Unfiltered. Yeah, you go.
Yeah, not filtered. Trust me, there's no filter here.
Yeah, unfiltered.
Nice. Awesome. Well, this has been the first episode of Unfiltered Turd.
Unfiltered.
Nice.